every week, tune in for the review. Mr. and Mrs. Chat serving hot like they do. Stand clear of the sidelines, we on the attack. Big Blue T's the podcast, ain't no looking back.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Big Blue T.
We've got these giant camp reports to flag, pointing to something pretty interesting with the offense. Honestly, yeah, we're excited to get into this.
Yeah, there's definitely something brewing there, based on these observations.
Right. So today, let's try and figure out what these specific sources are telling us about Mike Kafka maybe taking the reins on play calling again, and what that signals. Because the reports made a big deal out of this one OTA observation. Why was that so interesting right now, according to them? Let's dive in.
Well, it's framed as more than just, who's holding the script during practice. The reports suggest it could be hinting at a real strategic shift.
Okay, yeah, I see that. So the main thing, the core observation from what you sent over, second open OTA day, and they called it the most watched session so far.
Right.
Mike Kafka was the one calling offensive plays.
Exactly, and not just calling them passively. The descriptions in the reports are pretty vivid. He's in full command.
Full command, okay.
Yeah, confident, vocal, really directing the pace and rhythm of the offense. That's how they put it.
Okay, and that's interesting because the reports immediately contrast that with what Brian Daboll was doing, right?
Right. While Kafka's doing all that, Daboll was apparently floating from group to group.
Floating?
Yeah, observing more of an overseer role during that specific offensive period.
So the reports are reading that difference as, what, a subtle shift?
Subtle, yeah, but maybe one that might signal a major philosophical decision already in motion.
Yeah.
That's the interpretation jumping off the page.
Okay, so let's connect the dots like the reports do. They look back, particularly at the last two seasons, to explain why this observation, this potential shift, is such a big deal.
Absolutely. They really contrast 2023 and 2022. Last season, 2023, is painted as just chaos.
Chaos. How so?
Well, the play calling seemed to bounce around, sometimes Daboll, sometimes the QB coach, Shea Tierney. No real consistency, according to the report.
And the results? Oh, the reports weren't kind. No rhythm, no identity.
And those metrics, some of the worst red zone and third down conversion rates in the league. It just sounds like, disjointed is a good word for how the reports describe it.
Okay, so that's 2023. Now, flip that, like the reports do, to 2022. They call that Kafka's year, right? When he was clearly the guy.
Exactly. Presented very differently. That was the year Daniel Jones put up his best performance as a pro.
Right, I remember that feeling different. The reports say the offense had structure, creativity, and a clear identity.
Structure, creativity, identity.
Yeah.
And crucially, they made the playoffs.
Can't argue with that result.
And the reports really lean into that comparison.
Yeah.
They basically say, look, 22 success versus 23 struggles. That's not coincidence. That's coaching. They draw a direct line from who had the headset to how the offense looked.
Wow, yeah. Putting it side by side like that based on these reports makes a strong case. And then there's another angle they bring in. The rookie QB, Jacksonville.
Yes, exactly. Sort of a separate thread, but they connect that there's this buzz around him already, making waves.
What kind of buzz?
Things like making reads like a veteran, adjusting quickly to NFL speed, the kind of stuff that gets you noticed early.
Okay, so he sounds promising based on these early looks. The reports mention something about his energy, too.
Yeah, like he looks like a guy who wants to compete for more than just a backup role. Real drive.
Interesting. And how do the reports connect that back to Kafka?
They point out that it's Kafka leading this rookie development from the jump. And they interpret that as no accident.
Meaning?
Meaning it looks strategic. Like maybe they're intentionally pairing the promising rookie with the coach who had success developing the offense before.
Okay, that makes sense. So, pulling it all together, the OTA observation, the history, the rookie, what are the key things these reports say we absolutely need to watch now?
Right. They actually list out 5 specific things to monitor coming out of this.
Okay, let's hear them.
First, Kafka's body language. Just what we talked about. Confident, assertive, clearly in control. Keep watching if that continues.
Right. Matches the initial observation. What's second?
Second, offensive success under Kafka. Keep an eye on those metrics, specifically referencing the 2022 numbers among the league's best in red zone efficiency and turnover avoidance. Can he replicate that? Those were big weak spots last year.
Makes sense. Number 3.
Third is interesting. John Mara's preference. The reports mention that the owner has hinted that Daboll should be more CEO-like, less coordinator.
Oh, okay. So potential pressure from the top, aligning with Daboll stepping back a bit from the nitty-gritty play calls.
That seems to be the implication drawn in the reports, yeah. As another layer, fourth is Daboll's press comments.
What did he say?
Just a reminder that he apparently stated a final decision on play calling will come in preseason. So publicly, the door is still open, even with Kafka running things in these early sessions.
Okay, keeping options open publicly. And the last one?
Fifth is Kafka's consistency.
Yeah.
The fact he led both rookie minicamp and now OTAs, the reports see this as potentially a pattern, not just a one-off experiment.
Okay, so those 5 things give us a good framework. Now, let's zoom out a bit, put this in the context of Daboll himself. The reports acknowledge his background, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. He came in with that offensive genius label, helped elevate Josh Allen in Buffalo, known for aggressive and innovative schemes. That's his reputation.
But there's a but, isn't there? How do the reports assess his time in New York specifically?
Well, the analysis is pretty direct. They basically say that Daboll, the Buffalo version, hasn't fully shown up with the Giants yet.
Strong words. So if he does give up play calling, how do the reports interpret that move for him? Is it an admission of something not working, or...?
It could be read multiple ways, but one interpretation offered is that he might be embracing a more holistic leadership style. You know, more CEO, less micromanagement.
Which connects back to that point about Mara's preference you mentioned, a potential strategic shift for Daboll himself.
Could be. But the reports are also quick to point out that giving up play calling is no small feat, especially for guys known for their offensive minds. They throw out names like Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, or Sean McVay. For coaches like that, the headset, the play sheet, it's part of their identity.
Yeah.
So it's a really significant move if it happens.
Yeah, it's definitely not just shuffling papers on a desk. Okay, so let's quickly recap what we've pulled from these sources you shared. We saw Kafka calling players at OTAs looking confident. We saw the reports drawing that sharp line between Kafka's successful 2022 and the less successful 2023.
Right, the chaos year versus the playoff year.
Then there's the rookie angle with Jackson Dart potentially being groomed by Kafka strategically.
Yeah, that connection.
And finally, the different ways to look at what this means for Daboll, maybe becoming more of a CEO, maybe owner preference playing a role, but also acknowledging it's a huge step for an offensive coach to hand over the calls.
Exactly, which really funnels down into the big question the reports seem to be asking, and something for you, the listener, to chew on. Based on all this evidence laid out in the reports, the track record, the current observations, should Mike Kafka be the full-time play caller in 2025? Or should Brian Daboll keep the mic?
It really crystallizes the situation, doesn't it? When you weigh the reported results like that, definitely something to think about what the implications are based on everything you brought to the table today and we've dug into. All right, well, I think that just about wraps things up for this deep dive.
Yeah, seems like a good place to pause.
Just wanted to say a massive thank you for tuning in to Big Blue Tea.
Absolutely. And, you know, a huge shout out always to Black Freezy TV.
Oh,
For
definitely.
the fantastic programming, the production, everything that makes this possible.
Yep, their work behind the scenes is just really appreciated.
It really is.